What's up, guys? Just going to show you guys how to do this graphing assignment for the COVID data that we're looking at in class today. So on this first sheet, we've got all of the data from South Africa from the beginning of the pandemic till now. And what we're going to be doing is comparing that with America's data. The reason we chose South Africa is because they're actually the first country to really have a significant outbreak of the Omicron variant, which is the one that's currently kind of just hitting and just starting to become significant in America. So we're about a month behind them as far as like this current wave of or this current variant of COVID. So we're going to make a few graphs. The first one is going to be date versus new cases in South Africa. So what you're going to want to do is highlight all of column C for all the dates. So remember, to highlight an entire column, you can just click this little box right above the data where it says the letter C. So you don't need to do any manual highlighting or clicking on the individual cells. You can just click the C and it should highlight literally all that entire column for you. So if you scroll down, you'll see there is a whole lot of data here. Right? This is the entire day by day for the whole pandemic. And then we're going to graph that versus new cases. So you're going to want to hold the control button so that this stays highlighted. So on your keyboard, you're holding control and then click over here to column F. So now both of those columns are highlighted. And what this column is really showing is how many new cases there are each day. This data is smoothed, which means it's not like the actual day by day, it's the weekly average. And it's just going to give us a little bit easier graph to look at. So once you have those highlighted, you can hit Insert, Chart, and it should come right on up. So this is showing us all of the data from the whole past year and a half in South Africa. So we can see they've experienced a couple of four waves. And this one that we're currently on, hopefully it's on the way back down, but this is for the Omicron variant, mostly in South Africa. It's kind of recently gone through their country. And they did a lot of the same precautions that we're talking about, so masking and social distancing and shutting down certain schools, businesses, etc. So once you have that graph, you can copy and paste it into your document. So remember, Control-C and Control-V. So Control-C copies it, popping over to the document. You can erase this where it says copy and paste your graph here and paste that right in. Doesn't matter if you link it or not. So again, that was Control-V to get that graph in there. And then the other piece of data we're going to grab from this is how many people have actually been dying of COVID versus the date again. So same idea, you want to highlight the whole column C for all the dates. Make sure you're holding Control on your keyboard. And then column I says new deaths smoothed. So I have those two columns highlighted. I hit Insert, Chart. And we can see number of deaths versus time for South Africa. So even though they're, let's copy and paste that into our thing. So Control-C, Control-V. So just to make some quick sense of this, their number of cases is really peaking, or again, hopefully on the way down right now, but this Omicron gave them more cases than any of the other variants or any of the other waves. But if we go over here and look at how many people are actually dying in South Africa from this current wave of COVID, it's extremely low. All right, so this is hopefully good news and optimistic data, is that this current wave, while it's infecting a lot of people, it doesn't seem to be quite as serious in terms of the symptoms, the complications, the number of people actually dying from COVID. The one thing to add to that is South Africa compared to America, there are a greater percentage of people vaccinated, and there's a greater percentage of people that have already had COVID. So there's less people that are just truly kind of exposed to it. So this isn't to say that necessarily the Omicron variant is totally harmless. It's not. It's just showing that at least the data coming out of South Africa is that less people are having serious side effects, complications, etc. from this wave of COVID. Okay. So back to our spreadsheet real quick. We're going to do the exact same thing for the data here in America. So at the bottom of your spreadsheet, you'll see there is another tab that says United States. Go ahead and click that. And then you'll make the exact same two types of graphs. So it's number of cases versus date, and then number of deaths versus date, and you can compare those to the South Africa one. Okay, so that is that. Make sure you're answering the questions on the document as well. There's a couple of questions to make sense of what that data is showing us. And that's about it. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day.